Oh, you damn right. It is Friday, and Orange Bloods Live is rolling. The 12 o'clock show. Mr. Ketchum, I'm assuming, is about to jump in. The man's been answering emails all day long, but I thought we needed to get started. So I made the executive decision on getting started. Let's get going. Some chats have already started to come in. Text Guy 2 is voting for 2 more 5 stars for Texas. There's obviously a big recruiting discussion to have with Derek Cooper coming up. Thank you for the congrats from Sark After Dark. 42,000 subscribers. Yeah, I was going to mention that at some point during the show. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you guys for subscribing. Like, subscribe, get your notifications, all that good stuff. Sark After Dark. Yep, we're definitely talking Derek Cooper today. The big time all-purpose back. He's going to make his decision on Sunday evening. So he is going to definitely be the focus of the show today. All right, before we get to anything, let's take a sidetrack into the chat. Sandman, I see your comment, and I want to thank one of our chatters for making us aware that Sandman had been blocked, apparently. I didn't do it. I asked around. Nobody else knew who did it. So Sandman, you're back in. Just be careful. Too many of those fire Sark chats, and somebody from the 40 acres might step in. So you're in, you're free. Here's the only thing. The person that told us about it, I think I inadvertently blocked them. And then I told our tech people to look at the list, and they sent me the list, and I could not identify who it was. I jumped out of the chat before I realized it. So, Sandman, if you want to return the favor on the YouTube side of things, in the chat, if somebody says to you, hey, I think I got blocked, I might have done that inadvertently. I apologize to that person. So maybe we can get them back in too. So Sandman, thank you very much for jumping in. Thank everybody for getting in today. And Sark After Dark giving us a lot of good info today, saying that it is Texas in that media poll. This is weird to me that they waited this long, but we started going through the logic of why they might wait this long. And I guess I get it. You want to wait till media days are over. You want to put it out when Kentucky, Arkansas, A&M, and Missouri, maybe you're going through that last day, and then they would get all the questions or something like that. That's probably, what would have happened. So, but not a shock. If you read the War Room last night, which we hope you did, at orangebloods.com, Anwar said basically everybody he talked to in Atlanta said, yeah, Texas. It's going to be Texas as my number one. And it looks like they did hit it in that SEC poll. All right, I see Mr. Ketchum. Let's see if he's ready to roll. Let's see if he's ready to go. Yeah, he just had to get the Liverpool shirt on. What's up?
Greetings. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. I thought I was being tested for a second. I'm like, wait, no response there.
Here's what I found out. The show will go on without me no matter what. Because as I finally got everything restored, there's a question of like, well, will Chad just wait for me? And the answer is no.
I waited. Trust me, I waited, and then I decided to just set a time.
Well, how late did you wait? Like what in the end?
Nine after. I went with the niner.
I got 3 more minutes, Chad.
I gave you 9 minutes, sir.
That's what a man's worth in 2025.
No,
9 minutes.
If you had told me just hang till blank, I would have hung till blank.
I could have told you that. I'll tell you about this later, but let the show go. The show goes on.
The show goes on. And as multiple people have already pointed out, the number one SEC poll position has been achieved by Texas. Now, Cotton does point out number one in the SEC poll actually doesn't win the SEC very often.
It's like a third of the time.
That is true. It has not been a guarantee, but Ketch, that was one of many things that I thought was interesting in the War Room last night that, I got the sense of it just listening to people talking in Atlanta. Anwar said one person made an argument to him for Georgia, but then really everybody else was saying they thought Texas was better. I'm seeing Texas on all the, Vegas lists and stuff. Not shocked at all that the Longhorns ended up at number one.
I'm kind of shocked that, I didn't see the full poll. It was interesting. I saw a straw poll yesterday. I don't even remember if we talked about it at the end of the show or not, but Texas had 12 first place votes and nobody else had more than one. And it was like, oh, wow. Okay. So
yeah,
this is going to be one-sided when it all comes out. I think first team all SEC is really interesting to me.
So it's out as well.
Yes. Can we play a little, we have a little fun?
We can do it because I have not seen a thing. I was trying to figure out where my co-host was.
Well, that's you. Your mind was in the right place.
There you go. Exactly.
Texas has 5 on the first team, offense and defense. Can you name the 5?
Okay, 5 total offense and defense.
Correct.
All right. So I'm going to assume that Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons are on the list.
That is correct.
Because if they weren't, we'd have a discussion right now. Okay. That's 2. I got 3 more.
And don't look into the chat because people will, they will say some stuff.
Michael Taft.
There's 3. There's 2 more.
Are the other 2 on offense?
I'm not going to tell you.
Excellent. DJ Campbell.
There's 4. You have 1 more. There's 1 more.
Hang on. 1 more. All first team, all SEC. Oh, Wisner.
Bing. There you go.
Come on. When's the last time I actually passed one of Professor Ketchum's quizzes? I'm so excited.
Now, who's quarterback?
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, now
right.
You have to answer you didn't win $1 million. You just got to the point now where you get a chance. Do you want to cash out? Do you want to take your $250 and go home?
If this was considering the group of quarterbacks this year in the SEC and the wackiness, if I was at a real game show, I think I'd take my money and go home right now.
Call your dad.
Yeah, right, exactly. I think I would go home right now. But
call your dad. I'm gonna let you phone a dad.
There you go. I'll double down here. So we talked about this yesterday. You and I were both leaning more of like a Lagway or Sellers, and then maybe there's some people that would go Arch, but I'm gonna guess it's Nussmeier.
So close.
He's going home empty-handed. Is it Lagway?
It's Lenora Sellers.
Sellers, good. Very good. I kind of agree with that. That's if I was going to boil it all down and say not just potential, but what we've actually seen based on how they finished the season, I think that's what I would have done.
I don't know that that's what this is supposed to be.
No, I agree. I totally agree. We can have the discussion of what does this really mean, all SEC preseason, but I could make an argument for Sellers.
He's the best returning quarterback in the SEC.
Right.
Based on the way the season ended.
And yeah.
I do not think he's going to have a better season than Arch Manning or Derek Lagway.
Yeah. I think those two guys, there's some definite, if it's about what you think's about to happen, it's Lagway or Manning for me, and Nussmeier still has to prove it. There's no doubt.
But again, these things, it's DJ Campbell is the Texas representative on this all SEC team. And I would say Trevor Goosby is the best offensive lineman on the team.
Yeah, you guessed that one perfectly. That's why I guessed Campbell. I was kind of guessing through you because yesterday you said, I think Goosby would deserve it, but I think they're going to go with Campbell. So I assumed you were right, and you were.
I think an Oklahoma fan would look at this and go, okay, so they don't think anything of us. There's not an OU player on the list.
Wow, not even the D lineman?
There's not an OU player on the list.
Dang. Okay. Hey, take that for what it is. They know what kind of season they had last year.
Of the 22, Texas and Georgia combined for 9.
Okay.
Alabama's got Ryan Williams, Caden Proctor, and that's it. So there's 11. South Carolina's got 2. They got Lenora Sellers and Dylan Stewart. Auburn's got 1. Tennessee's got 1. LSU's got 1. Florida's got 2. I mean,
the clear message from the media is if you're not watching any other SEC game, make sure you tune in on November 15th.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the dogs are. Pardon the expression. That's where all the dogs are, and they're dogs and Longhorns.
I mean, there's no way to get around the fact those two teams combined for 9, and no other school in the entire conference has more than 2. So, it speaks to what we know about these two teams, though. It felt like there's a reason why and I know we need to get into what we ultimately are teasing on the video. We don't want to get too deep into it and not get into 5 stars and stuff, but this literally just happened. there's not a lot of surprise there. I'm curious to see what the second team looks like. If there even is one. Does the SEC even do that?
I don't think so preseason.
I think it's just a first team, right?
I think they just roll out a first team and go. I don't think they do set. I don't think, I may be wrong about that. I don't believe they do it preseason. Postseason, obviously, yes, but not.
So I'm going to assume that Sellers is the SEC preseason offensive player of the year. Because the other guys would be Wisner, Le'Veon Moss, Ryan Williams, or Cam Coleman.
I was going to say Ryan Williams jumped to mind, but.
Or is there a chance that the quarterback could be a different quarterback? You know how it could be one of those oddity votes?
Right, where it's like, oh, here's the one. Yeah.
Like the guy that wins the vote only got 3 votes. But that's more than because I don't know. We'll see. I haven't seen it all, so I shouldn't speculate on probably what didn't happen, and then I'll look like a fool later on. But
by the way, Juan, I see your $4.99 super chat. We will get there, but we do need to get into the recruiting discussion. Also, we are going to throw up, as you see, the graphic one more time this week. For obviously SEC Media Days are done, but our sponsors that got our guys to and from, we want to give them one more day of love. Hay City Store, Taste on Main, and of course, Texas Card House. And if you don't know about that little restaurant in Buda, it is a place you have got to check out. It's one of my favorite places to go have a steak, and it is a great casual environment. How about this? Free parking. Not something you always get in the greater Austin area, but free parking, so you don't have to worry about that. Locally sourced steak, but how about this? They only serve East Coast oysters. So if you're an oyster snob, this is your place too. Go in, check it out. The brunch is 10 to 3 on Saturdays and Sundays. I love their brunch. They got great bourbon and tequila selections. They just do all those details perfectly. And whether you're doing an anniversary, a birthday, or just celebrating to get out and whatever, maybe you're going to go celebrate, Derek Cooper's decision because you think he's going to pick Texas. We'll get into that coming up. Whatever you're doing, Taste on Main, downtown Buda. Tell Travis and Tamara and the crew that you heard about it here on Orange Bloods Live. It is so, so good. All right, Catch. And again, I'll get that super chat in. It's about Sark and kind of a general comment. We'll get to that. But Catch, the big story we're into today is Derek Cooper, the number 1 all-purpose back in America that's going to decide Sunday evening between Texas and Georgia. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Or maybe Texas, or maybe Miami. Sorry.
Yeah, I think, there's for a long time it was thought to be Miami. The Texas thing is, with his situations happened so sudden. Honestly, trying to calibrate what the hell is actually happening in his recruitment's kind of fascinating. I mean, the fact that he hasn't taken an official in Texas, and yet we're going to have the conversation about him that we're going to have, speaks to, I think, the modern age of 2026 recruiting.
So let me start with a slightly technical question just for you, covering it as long as you have. Do you dig the distinction between just a running back and an all-purpose back? Do you like them doing that?
I don't.
Or do you care?
Doesn't matter to me. I literally never give it any thought.
Okay, what is it about Derek Cooper that puts him in that category for people that rank it that way? Like, is there a little extra sauce, a little extra seasoning, a little extra special on him that gets him in that category for you?
I have no idea. It's not how I view him. I mean, he's a versatile guy. Look, the guy that he kind of reminds me of, and I shudder to say it because he's not this guy, but the guy he'll give you some flashes of. He's got a little Adrian Peterson vibe to him. And that at this point in his career, we're looking at a guy that's like 6'2", 2+. He hits the hole. He's really versatile. I think that's where the all-purpose stuff comes from. He's got really good hands, catches the ball out of the backfield, natural receiver. There's a little Michael Terry component in that if someone said, we don't think he's a running back because of this, I could see a little Michael Terry discussion there. What did I think of Michael Terry last year? I was a big proponent of him playing running back. I think he's more of a running back than Michael Terry was, and Michael Terry's more of a receiver. I'm just giving you an example of how some people get from point A to point B. I think his strength is his ability to hit the hole and kind of go from the first level to the third level is pretty special. Like, he's electric. And then I don't think over 40, 50, 60, 70 yards we're talking about Jamal Charles. But he has that quite frankly Emmitt Smith had back in the day, where it was like, sure didn't seem like he got stopped from scoring a lot of those long touchdowns. And it was like, well, what's the key? And the key oftentimes is, dude, get beyond the linebackers before anybody can react and do anything. And he really aggressively, in an age where guys are real patient a lot of times, here's what the modern running back does a lot. They're very patient. They really, in this modern age of playing the position, have been taught, wait, let your block set up, go, right? It's a patient man's position in 2025.
The Le'Veon Bell theory.
Yes. And most of these guys that have any speed at all, they're usually faster than everybody they play at this level. So they're always cutting it out. I mean, if you've seen one highlight tape, you've almost seen them all. Hit that second level, and then there's an angle that almost every running back takes, where it's a little loop. It's I'm getting to the outside, I'm faster than everybody, and I'm gone. This kid just goes. And when where you really see his burst is through the hole, into the second level, boom, he's into the secondary. And then there's, that's it. He's a big guy. It's hard to bring down, but like his ability to, I think, look electric from hit the hole and go is different. Now, the thing is, running backs are weird, man. I have, there are some positions that you can look at and go, well, look, if they don't get injured and their heads don't fall off, they'll be fine. They'll play in the NFL. There are other guys, though, that I can't explain to you why they didn't make it. And the running back often is a really weird position. Like, let me give you some running back stats for a second, okay? To give you an idea of how weird it is. When it comes to 5 stars, and we talk about the running back position historically in the state of Texas, almost every 5-star that has come through the state of Texas at the running back position all time has played in the NFL.
Okay.
It's Adrian Peterson. It's Christian Michael. Even Lake Seastrunk got a cup of coffee. Malcolm Brown, Brandon Williams, Trey Williams, cup of coffee with the Cowboys. Zach Evans, for all the stuff that we talk about, Zach Evans didn't live up to that. He's getting paychecks. There is an occasional Jeremy Calhoun or an occasional Jonathan Gray, right? Which I think Jonathan Gray plays on Sundays and then his body breaks down. These things do happen, but it's a position that more times than not, 5-star running backs. And I would say for me, Jamal Charles was one of those guys. Michael Goodson was one of those guys. The list kind of goes on. I had J.K. Dobbins as a 5-star, but like the lower you go, it gets to be a little more dangerous. There's a little bit more peril. The thing that nobody seems to completely agree with on Cooper is, what is he as a running back? 2 services have him ranked as essentially the number 1 running back in the country, borderline 5-star kind of a guy. Rival/On3 rated him number 123 in the country. I don't know. I don't know what he is. What I will tell you is, I think, and look, he was not Texas's primary target for the majority of the recruiting process. The running back chase for Texas has been kind of wild because way back in the beginning, what we thought was going to happen was that there'd be a KJ Edwards reserve in this class, that he would be one of the guys in that spot. There are 3 fantastic running back prospects, Chad, in the state of Texas that are all national top 100 kind of guys. Everybody knows KJ Edwards. We've talked about him a ton, but he's not alone. You've got the ball kid out of that's committed to Oregon. You've got the Osborne kid that committed to Notre Dame. And at one point, it looked like Texas was going to get 2 out of those 3 guys. It looked like Osborne and Edwards were both leaning towards Texas. Then there was a running back position change, coach. And with that, we saw KJ Edwards. Well, we saw Javian Osborne kind of get in his feelings a little bit, how that showed up. The new coach identifies that Edwards is much preferred over Osborne, and Osborne just kind of goes, like, shockingly, I thought in January Javian Osborne would be a Longhorn. He didn't. He ends up at Notre Dame. Tredarian Ball goes to Oregon, and then all that's left is KJ Edwards. Well, we know that Texas was recruiting out of state. We know that out of state, there were quite a few guys that they had an eye on, but it always felt like they've got KJ Edwards in their hip pocket. So at worst, they'll end up with KJ Edwards. Can they end up with KJ Edwards and like another super bona fide badass? Now, Texas they hoped, their fingers were crossed that Xavier Crowell would be that guy. He's the number 1 running back on the Texas board. Make no mistake about it. I was told Texas liked their chances better with Crowell than people think before he committed to Alabama. I think if you had asked Texas a month ago, you're going to have a guy that's a 5-star level running back, and it's not KJ Edwards, and he's out of state. Who do you think it's going to be? I think they would have thought it was going to be Crowell. He commits to Alabama. There's a recalibration of sorts of, oh, okay, that just happened. The next guy on the list for them, just, playing it kind of simple, was to go Derek Cooper. Cooper hadn't taken an official, but Derek Cooper set to make him. Derek Cooper, and I'm sure Sukumel told you this on the recruiting hour earlier this week. When Jason Sukumel talked to Derek Cooper in the middle of late June, when the Rivals conference was taking place, the Rivals 5-star event, he had 5 hats in his hand. None of them were Texas.
Right.
He asked him, I guess this means Texas has some work to do. He said, you can say that. Yes, Texas has some work to do.
Yeah.
And yet here we are 2 days away from when he will make his announcement. And the overwhelming expectation is that Derek Cooper will announce to Texas. And that's where we are on that. And it is why you can't get too mad at people when they put future casts in. They try to put something in early, try to put something in April, try to put something in the middle of June. And it's like, these things we really see. When I say things are fluid in 2025 and 2026 in recruiting, a lot of people like to make fun of me because I say that word all the time. It's fluid. There's nuance to things. Man, look that up in the dictionary today, and you see a picture of Derek Cooper's recruitment. Maybe with him wearing a University of Texas ball cap on Sunday. We'll see.
So there's a good chat on Cooper here, but real quick, Catch, the information has been rolling in from the chat. Texas Sailor says it's Arch on the 3rd team. I'm assuming that's Lagway's 2nd team. You can tell me. And then Wingo Manny Muhammad's 2nd team, Gooseby, Moore, and I'm assuming that's Indries' 3rd team. Gooseby 3rd team? Okay. I
think that my reaction to that, and I did see that, and I was
Bo Meester 2nd, Will Stone 3rd. Okay, really? All right, I'm no comment. If that's real, no comment. Come on, Bo Meester, yes. What
I think
do you?
It's like kicking. I think it's like a kickoff specialist.
A kickoff specialist. Okay, Will Stone. They looked at some stats, and all right, fair enough. Okay, I don't
think it was for place kicker, but I just saw KS next to his name.
Kicking specialist. You're right. That's what the KS is. Okay, so they do go deep 3 teams. So there you go. More Longhorns on the preseason all SEC.
Can I give you some thoughts?
Sure.
On that? Well, do you need to pay a bill? And then I'll give you my breaking this just in thoughts on 2nd and 3rd team.
Sure, let's do that.
Plus,
And
why don't I try to log out and log back in and see if I can get my face to catch up with my mouth?
you absolutely read my mind on that one. I was going to have you do that. You do that. We'll hear from AV Consultations, and Ketch will be right back to talk about his reactions to the second and third team guys for Texas. Here's some AV for you. Pay attention.
Now, stepping up to the plate is a household name, weighing in at roughly 115 pounds with a wingspan of 98 inches. It's Samsung.
Kid, I know it's baseball season, but this isn't what I meant when I said to incorporate sports into the company commercial.
Sorry, old man. I just want everyone to know that audiovisual consultations can make your home feel like a stadium.
That's true. Audiovisual provides stadium surround sound, huge screen video, controlled lighting, and even temperature control. On our roster, every customer is an MVP.
Sounds like audiovisual knows how to score a home run with our customers.
All right, kid, that's enough with the baseball puns.
But I'm trying to tell everyone that audiovisual is a real catch. You'll glove our services.
Kid?
There's nothing coming out of left field when you give us a call. We won't break your balls.
Kid, we only have a minute.
Pitch, please. I don't need your attitude right now.
Rest assured, listeners, audiovisual is much better at installing and designing custom home theaters than we are at making jokes.
Just check our stats. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us online at avconsultations.com.
There you have it. Check them out. Make sure you tell them you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live, AV Consultations. Catch getting everything reset technically. ATX Bates, I see that super chat. We will get to it. Make sure I didn't miss another one. Yeah, I got 3 super chats we will get to. Catch is jumping back in, ready to go. All right, Catch, you were going to give reaction to the second and third team guys for the SEC?
Yeah, but I hope it looks worse now than it did before. So you tell me if it's working.
It's like we've said before. Your audio is fine, and multiple times during the show, you've caught up eventually. You've done the kung fu thing and then caught up. So I can hear you fine. Yeah,
it's been that kind of a day, Chad.
It really has. Yeah,
and I tell you what,
we'll trust your audio if you're good with it. Up to you.
I am going to persevere. And if the video is already a disaster, then it's a disaster. Like sometimes we do a video. Hey, they're not all resume tape shows.
Yeah, that's it.
we're now 30 minutes into this that people know it by now, Chad. Like if they're with us, they're with us.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. So I got 3 super chats. I got a good question about Cooper, but you wanted to talk about the all SEC stuff.
I think it's interesting that Ryan Wingo is the Texas receiver getting the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I like that.
I think Sark would tell you that needs to be DeAndre Moore.
Yep.
I think.
That's probably right.
If you were to say a week ago, hey, Sark, one of your guys is going to be first team all SEC wide receiver, who do you think it should be? I think he would say DeAndre Moore. Now, we know why they went with Ryan Wingo, but that's one of those things where just curious where the national, regional perspective on that is. Trevor Goosby being third team is just kind of proof that the people that vote on these things don't really know what they're doing. Because if their ear was really to the ground, DJ Campbell's not on that first team and Trevor Goosby. DJ Campbell couldn't keep his job all season long. They rotated him with Cole Hudson. He was the only starting offensive lineman on the Texas team that rotated with a player that ultimately rated as the worst graded lineman on the team. So he wasn't so good that they wouldn't take him out to put in a guy who otherwise wasn't very good. So that tells you they weren't getting great play, because you don't take great players off the field. Little surprised by that. No hatred towards DJ Campbell. Like, right on for him. As a guy that ranked him as 5 stars, I want him to be an All-America this year so that I don't look terrible. Arch being third team's interesting. It's like
was it Lagway second?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but it's like like the media has 1 foot dangling in and 1 foot dangling out.
Right. You got to put him in there. You got to put him in there somewhere if you're picking his team to win the whole damn conference, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Jack Injuries at third team is really interesting. I think if you're Texas, that's what you want. if that guy's higher than that, he may go pro after this year. And, like that guy's got multiple years of eligibility remaining. Slow down.
Because he finished, second team all conference last year? Is that right?
I don't think so.
I thought
he was the second leading yardage wide receiver among all Power 4 tight ends that were coming back.
Gotcha. I thought he got some all conference love in the, what are they?
He might have. I don't remember that.
Okay.
That's not to say you're wrong or I'm right. I'm just admitting maybe that was short-term memory, like memories that just went by the way the dodo bird. And I think if I think about the other positions, I think they probably have it right. I think that there's a part of me that wonders, are they sleeping on Jalen Gilbo? Maybe the way they would have, I don't know. Gilbo pops to mind, and then, it's hard for me not to think of Jelani McDonald. But then I also think of, tonight in the war room or last night in the war room, Alex, or I guess earlier today in a separate note, Alex was reporting that Kobe Black has really been pushing for what might be some first-team reps. So there's just this constant reminder that there's all of this young talent simmering kind of at all of the positions. And it will be interesting. We know one or two guys I think will emerge. Who will it be? And the easiest name on the list right now would be Gooseby. They've got him at third team. I will be really surprised if he's not much higher than that. Arch, honestly, Texas is probably playing for the conference championship if he's third team. That is probably good enough in a year where I think we think the conference is going to be pretty good. That means he's not a disaster. I don't know. I got to wrap my head around this, but that's not terrible representation. And I don't think as it relates to Texas, they got it too crazy. I think DeAndre Moore probably needs to be on the third team somewhere, and he's not. But other than that, I won't nitpick it.
By the way, Jack Injuries, all honorable mention.
Not the same thing. That really is the participation trophy of honors.
Just want to be clear on that. Yes, I was incorrect. All right, Catch, let's clean some super chats here. $4.99 from Juan. Sark has a Nick Saban recruiting strategy with a Pete Carroll mindset. Thoughts? Juan, I said at the podium, he reminds me of both. When he's at his best, I can feel both of those guys influencing him. So, yes, I think he's a great mix of his two mentors.
I just think that his recruiting strategy is evolving incredibly fast. So, Juan, hold my hand here for just a second while I lay this out for you, because this is one of the things I find myself super fascinated about, and it is super nerdy. But kind of what you're saying is wrong. A couple of years ago, let's just say 3 years ago, if you would have told Steve Sarkisian that he could have 35 scholarships in a recruiting class, I think he would have had a very Nick Saban, Pete Carroll mindset of take all the best badass guys you can get, and if all 35 of them are high school, perfect. Doesn't care. He loved it. Loved it. Give me the high school kids. And look, he was at USC. He was at Alabama. He knows what it's like to be on programs that have super talented rosters. So he did follow in their footprints, and you can see it in the early part of recruiting. Now, when he came in, NIL was just getting started. And those of you that have watched this show for 2, 3, 4, 5 years know, or just me on YouTube or me on Orange Bloods, I was an advocate and a proponent for got to use the portal. That there are things in that portal that if you take advantage of that, as the same time you're doing this other thing, that's where the real money's going to be made. Be elite in both places. It's not easy to do. Need a lot of money. Ohio State did it a year ago. So originally, Sark was really slow with the portal. He was taking bums, to be completely honest with you, but guys that he knew wouldn't screw up the kind of synergy he was looking for in the locker room, right? So were Ben Davies or Ray Thornton's or some of the guys that they took going to be difference makers? No, they weren't difference makers where they came from. But they didn't cause disruption, and they were better than the dudes that Texas had that were going 5-7 with. But then Sark got his hands on Adonai Mitchell. And said Adonai Mitchell, and maybe Quinn Ewers to some degree was the thing that helped start this. But to me, Adonai Mitchell is the thing where one season they had Xavier Worthy as their only receiver, and they literally rotated the position every week. Even into the bowl game, I bet people don't even remember who the hell started in the bowl game at wide receiver in 2022, but go take a peek. Hint, he's not here anymore. And that in itself could be any number of guys. But he gets Adonai Mitchell, and what happens? They go to the national semifinals. They wouldn't have otherwise. They sprinkled in a number of other guys in the portal that really, really helped. But the Adonai Mitchell thing was the big thing. This past year, what happens? They go after the portal at the wide receiver position like crazy, right? Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond. They almost went as hard at that position at wide receiver as they did defensive tackle. What happens? National semifinals again. What happens? Another guy drafted really high by the NFL in the first round. And Isaiah Bond would have been a second-day guy had he not whatever the hell it is that Isaiah Bond did, okay? And he's been doing that more and more, and now we've seen Texas get to a place. We're coming into this recruiting process. They're kind of 2/3, 1/3. 2/3 high school kids, 1/3 portal, but all of the portal guys are former power conference transfers, and the more eligibility, the better. That is a massive shift. That was the shift until about a month ago, Juan. And I think they were set to kind of repeat it. They just signed the number 1 recruiting class. I think they thought we're just going to do it again. And I think they've watched what's happened in recruiting. And I think that what they've realized is, holy crap, man, are you seeing who's getting $250,000 in NIL or revenue share? Do you see who's getting $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000? Like, it's out of pocket. Everybody has cash. And what Texas has decided is, oh, crap. It's going to cost a lot of money to get all of the guys that we want. More than we thought. Way more than we thought. We've seen them lose Felix Ojo, and I think 5-6 weeks ago, they didn't think that was going to happen. We saw them lose Jamarian Carlton. I don't think 5-6 weeks ago they thought that's going to happen. I think they thought that the market was going to be a little calmer than it was. It hasn't been. They've adjusted, though. They've not said we're going to wait till November, December. They've realized we got to make moves now. It's still later than everybody else, but we're going to do our moves now. And they've now built a recruiting class that is so top-heavy that it's top-heavier in a way that nobody else in the nation can match. Nobody. No other school in the country has as many unanimous, that means every single recruiting service ranks them as a top national 65 prospect. I call them super blue chips. Texas has 4 of those. Notre Dame has 3. A&M has 3. But none of the rest of the Big 5, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, they only have 2. Oregon only has 1. Now, it'll change. But Texas has said, we're going to go after the guys that we think are the war daddiest of all the war daddies. And what we don't yet know what's going to happen is, then what? Because they built a recruiting class where they've got about 20 commitments. But there's a real haves and have-nots component of that. There's a real, either these guys are super regarded or they're not really awesomely regarded. And if Texas is going to get to 105, if Texas is going to maintain a top 5 recruiting class, they're going to have to make some decisions with they can either go spend more massive amounts of money and try to flip guys in recruiting, or they can say, we're going to wait, take some middle class guys that we scout that we think are really good targets, kind of the Oklahoma approach, if you will. Or they may say we're going to wait and go into the portal and let the dust clear, take care of our retention, take all the big war daddies, and then if there's a Murad Watson that we can take through the portal because some team can't manage its money, then we're going to do that. But I don't think whatever the hell he's doing right now, it is not anything that Nick Saban has ever done in his entire life. That's the thing I'm getting at. College football's changed so dramatically that Steve Sarkisian wants to be the guy that you just called him, Juan. That's about the highest compliment. If he heard you say, they think I am Nick Saban and Pete Carroll from a recruiting strategy standpoint, dude, he'd probably be okay with you putting that on his tombstone. Here lies Steve Sarkisian, half Saban, half Pete Carroll. Like, who doesn't like that? But I think things in 2025 going into 2026 are so wildly, we ain't ever seen this before, that whatever this is, Sark is the first of his kind. Nobody's doing what Sark is doing. Nobody's ever done it before. And I've not yet seen the current college head coach that's also doing exactly what he's doing. It is its own unique strategy. Don't know if it's going to work. I don't even know how it's going to completely unfold. I don't know yet how they're going to get to 105, if that's the number in 2026 they're working with. That means they need to take another 30 players. To take another 30 players to get to 105, and look, they wouldn't take a full 30 because they probably bring in a number of their walk-ons, things like that. But they're not using that on $250,000 guys that are going to take 3 years to develop. The thing that's changed, one, is that Sark is wide-eyed to a lot of the guys that I like a lot. They need like 2 or 3 years to get on the field, and there's nothing wrong with that, except they don't wait that long in college football these days to develop, and they're really expensive a lot of times if they do. We just had the Felix Ojo conversation. If he potentially rightfully needs 3 years to get there, can you afford to pay that guy $3 million in dead money over 2 years, or $2 million, or $1 million? These are all new questions Nick Saban and Pete Carroll never had to ask.
Juan, thank you for $4.99. We appreciate it. Jay threw us $2.
I gave him $4.99 worth.
And then some. Let's see what you give Jay for $2. This year, the least amount of Texas OU recruiting battles ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look, this is really weird. Let's stop and think about this for a second. If we just focus on the state of Texas, Texas has 3 guys ranked in the top 38 currently. Let's just say this. Of the top 35 committed guys in the state, or 36, Texas has commitments from 3 of them. OU's only got commitments from 2 of them. And I don't think Texas went after the 2 OU guys. You know, the quarterback, they didn't. The Bentley kid, who's ranked really highly. He's emerged as Rivals has him ranked 2nd in the state, but Texas didn't offer because they had Dia Bell. And, you know, they're waiting on Davian Gross to make an announcement, but Texas never went after that guy. There's no Michael Fasusi battle that Oklahoma won. And on the Texas side, were those all guys that Oklahoma lost? Yes, they offered them, but it didn't really come down to Texas OU. So, yeah, least OU Texas recruiting battle year ever. And look, Jay, what did I say a couple of months ago about OU on the field this season? That's not really Texas's. They're not any of Texas's business except for a week this year. That's it. We'll talk about them, right? Because they're the Sooners. But in reality, OU doesn't matter to Texas right now. They're not impacting Texas in recruiting. They're not good enough on the field that they really, other than the 1 week when they play, they don't need to be on anybody's lips, on anybody's minds. Texas has 3 tougher games away from home that they already have to play. Like, OU will get the attention they deserve when it's time to give them attention. But they're none of Texas's business on the field. And as it's turned out, they're really not any of Texas's business in recruiting. And look, Chad, you did finally hear the comments.
I did. Jim Nagy.
That Jim Nagy, Oklahoma general manager, audibly volunteered under no duress.
Yep.
No gun to his head.
Not that I can see.
He didn't have that we know of, and we should say this. It seems fair. It's possible that Jim Nagy has a family member that's been kidnapped out of a scene from the movie Ransom. And
Catch, you know me. I'm an expert blinker. I did sense a little maybe extra blinking. So Jim, if you need something, let us know.
Because that would explain, like, oh God, he's been dealing with some really serious stuff. Aunt Betty on his third cousin's side has been kidnapped and he won $1 million. Oh God, okay.
Right. He might have blinked, they took my dog. I have to go back and look.
My 12-year-old's pet possum is missing. It doesn't have to be totally drastic, right? It could just be the possum ran away and the whole house is shook up. I would let that. I would go, God, you know what, man? I've had dogs run away. It'll make you say crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
That man didn't just go on in front of a television camera. I think that's what that was. And say, hey, man, if a 5-star is recruiting Texas, like maybe we just need to not be in that recruitment and we need to go find some guys that are 3 stars that we think are 5 stars. That man included Texas A&M in the conversation as well.
Yeah, he did. Oregon, Texas. Was it Oregon, Texas, Georgia, and A&M? Were those the 4? I think those were the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told Chad, hey, man, don't think about that in the vein of normal people. That's not crazy. It's not crazy, just like when Charlie Strong said once upon a time in 2014, we ain't going to win a national championship, and Texas fans lost their minds, right? We get it. Fan is short for fanatic. We really have to stop being crazy when fans do fanatical things. But I don't care if Texas was ranked number 1 in the country and had the number 1 recruiting class in the country. If the very first time that Brandon Harris ever gave an interview on camera, if he ever indicated that Texas didn't have the strength as a program to go head to head, forget about Georgia or whatever, with A&M and Oklahoma, and then was like, hey, man, you seen them kids at Oklahoma State and Tech? We got to find the best of them dudes. That's what's up. If Brandon Harris had said that, Orange Bloods would be on fire right now. It would be a scene out of Gone with the Wind. Atlanta would be in flames. By the way, you didn't think you were going to get a Gone with the Wind movie reference.
That was, you know what, Jay? We are in an intense ROI day for super chats. That was a $2 super chat.
I can't think of any other movies where a city burned. Can you give me one so I can use that one as a metaphor in the future?
I can't make y'all send super chats anymore than what Catch
seen Gone with the Wind, have you?
Catch is giving you. I've never seen Gone with the Wind all the way through.
Why
No.
did I even say that?
Catch is giving y'all as much for your super chats as we have ever seen today. So jump in there. How about Catch? Back to Cooper. ATX Bates, $4.99. Is Cooper the kind of talent that would displace any of the current running backs at Texas as a freshman?
Maybe.
Okay.
It is, man. Like, everybody's scheduled to come back. Maybe Trey Wisner. Look, Trey Wisner, first team preseason All SEC. Maybe. Chad, it's hard for me to say this. Maybe Trey Wisner goes pro early. I don't think of him as like, oh, When Jaden Blue went pro and you told me if the Cowboys take Jaden Blue in the 3rd round, how would you feel? I'd be like, cool. Give me some of that speed.
Mm-hmm.
If you told me, would that be a little high? I would go, what did he run at the combine again? What did he run at his pro? Okay, yeah, but I'd be okay with it. Well, you really have to tell me what Contravius Wisner said, what he runs at his pro day. I need to know. Like, I don't watch him. And he averaged less than 3.5 yards per carry in half his games last year. So, and in the biggest games, I didn't ever think to myself, Jesus, Sark, you're trying to beat Georgia. Give Trey Wisner the ball. But he's back. Baxter's back. They love Christian Clark. So do I, by the way. I'm the original truther. Okay. They love Simon. They got a lot of dudes. Sark was going crazy this week talking about his 3rd or 4th string running back from last year. Pop quiz chat. Do you remember? Who am I forgetting? That's what I'm kind of talking about. I'm doing this on purpose.
Who, Velton Gardner?
What's that?
Is that a Velton reference?
No. God, no.
Oh, sorry.
You really don't know?
I don't know.
Let me tell you who I've said out loud. And this guy has to come back. He does not have missing eligibility that would allow him to go pro.
Mm-hmm.
Wisner, Gibson, Clark, Simon, Stewart.
Oh, Baxter.
No. Wisner, Baxter.
Oh, you said Baxter.
I said Gibson. I gave it away.
Oh, okay. Like, wait. You just said Gibson, so I was like, okay,
I meant to say Wisner, Baxter, Clark, Simon, Stewart, and that would leave Gibson. They got so many guys coming back. You forgot Jared Gibson was a thing.
Yeah.
So, and now look, is he better than all of those guys? Probably. But is he better than all those guys as a true freshman when Wisner would be a senior if he comes back and Baxter would be look, I don't know. I don't know how he plays. One of the things that I was curious about at the running back position, and this is, you know what, ATX Bates, this is the answer to your question. How much money is it going to cost that kid to commit to Texas when he ain't even taken an official visit yet? And he wasn't even in their top 5 a couple of weeks ago. Okay. Now ask yourself, because I've reported this a lot, Texas doesn't want to spend another dollar of 2026 revenue share or NIL needed dollars on players that won't come in and play right away in 2026. Forget about the words. What would Steve Sarkisian's actions at this exact moment seem to be indicating, Chad?
Seem to be indicating that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I lost the point halfway through. My bad.
Well, they're going to get Cooper a lot of money. They're not giving anybody money in 2026 to ride the bench. So if ATX's Bates' question is he the kind of talent that would potentially displace the current running backs? Well, I just spent enough time telling you how many running backs are still on the team that I lost Chad's focus. Sorry about that. Their offer itself is an action of evidence that they think the answer is yes. Because I think if the answer was even maybe, I think they would wait and say, let's see how this season plays out a little bit before we get too crazy with what we want to give out. And they were going to do it for Crowell and they missed. And now they're going to do it for Cooper. They clearly want the upgrade. They're clearly willing to make the financial commitment to make it happen. So the answer is yes. And honestly, that's the stuff we got to start talking about when we talk about guys playing. Because look, who do we know off this freshman class is getting cash, right? We know Cade Phillips got money. They flipped him late. We know Justice Terry got flipped. We know Bo Barnes didn't come for free. We got to look at these young guys. And I think they do this in pro football all the time, right? Where it's like, well, we think that the walk-on has been as good in camp as the first-round draft pick. And if a coach tried to walk into a general manager's office and tell him that, he'd say, you better coach your ass off then. The man's getting paid. The man just cashed a $14 million signing bonus. Don't you ever walk in here again and tell me that the guy is behind the guy from Bethany State. Because apparently I need a new head coach and a new whatever position coach. Get it right. Don't ever come in and tell me that again. Now, I think there's a little bit of that. Man, there's going to be some exasperation when a position coach, look, if let's say Jack injuries ended up not being good, okay, whatever reason. And then, but he's coming back next year. And then if Jeff Banks were to go to Sarkisian and say, I need money for a badass tight end, he says, I gave you all that money for injuries. How much money can I give you? Injuries has got to come back. We can't just kick him to the curb. He's making what he's making. And so, it is, I think there's just a new way of talking about all of these players. This is different. We've never done it before. And I think, again, ATX Bates, I think the answer to your question is very much what Dwayne Thomas said after the Super Bowl in Super Bowl V. Was it Brookshire that asked him that, it's like, were you as stoppable out there as it appeared that you were, or was you as fast out there as it appeared on television that you were? And he answered him, evidently. And it's like, I feel like that's the answer to the question. Evidently.
Well, and to this week, Catch, it's a week that started with a statement about Atkinson being that type of guy, and it's going to end with a statement about Cooper possibly also being that type of guy.
It's a statement about Johnson as well.
Yeah, good point.
They would not take that guy if they didn't think next year he's playing, period.
Yeah, it's a good point. Glad somebody's making him on this show today. By the way, speaking of Cooper, Catch, this one I was trying to fit this in earlier. I thought it was a good question for in-state. Vivek wanted to know, is Cooper better than Osborne and KJ Edwards and all the in-state crew? You kind of laid it out earlier in the Texas guys. For you, Cooper's better than all of them, than some of them?
I have them all rated as high 4-star running backs, but I would rank Osborne first in the pecking order. I'm sorry, not Osborne. I have
Cooper
ranked first ahead of the others. I wouldn't argue with any order, honestly. Like, I would just be pandering to the audience if I think I would rank Cooper first, but I don't have Cooper quite ranked as a 5-star. I have him ranked as a high 4-star, and I have the others ranked that way too. So the reason why I would rank him first, I just think physically he looks, I love the fact that guy's built like a man. He's, let's say, as an all-purpose back, he has all that versatility, but he brings a level of size that I think is a little bit different than KJ Edwards. It's small, very fine margins, because ultimately I have them ranked the same.
Jay, I believe it is. Yes, Jay, I see your super chat. We will get to that. Let's give Specs a little bit of love. They are the ones that bring us the chat. Thanks to over 800 of you packed into the chat right now. Here's Lisa.
Texans know for selection and lower prices, it all starts at Specs.
Shop Specs!
With all your favorites on tap, you'll bring home the win. Boots on, drinks up. The fun starts here.
Shop Specs!
By the way, a little later in the show, Ketch came up with a strange idea. Mike Elko fact or fiction. Ketch has no clue what happened yesterday with A&M and the SEC Media Days. So I'm going to give him 5 Mike Elko statements, and he has to tell me, is it something Mike Elko actually said in Atlanta, or is it something I made up that he said in Atlanta? That's coming up, possibly.
No, when are we doing that?
I don't know. That's up to you. Do you want to do that before or after buy or sell?
I'm going to do that instead of buy or sell, because I'm not prepared.
Oh, instead of buy or sell. I like that. Okay. All right. So
and it's Friday and my streaming sucks right now. And I don't even know if my words match my mouth. Like, I need to be done.
And by the way, Catch, I know we always talk about, sometimes the excuse is just a reason something happens. All I want y'all to do today is watch Catch's audio and video, and then imagine to yourself that your job is to listen to exactly what he's saying and then figure out the proper transition, even if it's a quick quiz, when his face and his words don't match. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just telling you what I'm trying to deal with today. And I suck at the games anyway. But today, I feel like there's a blindfold being put up every once in a while. Anyway, I'm just telling you what I'm going through. It's been a rough day, and I couldn't have come up with Jarrett Gibson if he gave me 19 guesses at that point, because I was trying to follow it all. Good God. All right. Jay, a $5 super chat. What the hell will OU do 2 years from now when one of their 3-star hits 3 stars hits and looks around and realizes everyone else like him is getting 4 times what OU is paying?
I'm fascinated to just see how it plays out, guys.
Yep. Yeah, I am too.
But I would just say, man, I don't know how Oklahoma fans aren't alarmed by what they did in the portal.
Me either. Forget
this
Oklahoma.
Show wouldn't talk about anything else other than where did they go to sign players again? I mean, you would not be able to fool them on that.
Catch, what would happen if A&M's GM made that exact same argument? Do you think Aggie fans would be okay with that?
No, but I'm talking about the thing is not even what he said. I'm saying go look at their class of guys where they're bringing in guys from the portal.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute, we're supposed to win the SEC with this?
Right. Again,
what is the goal? What are we trying to do when you're signing players that otherwise might not play for major power conferences?
Venables showed up and bragged that he brought 3 of those guys to media days that nobody else wanted. It was unbelievable. I'm that plus Nagy. I am mystified by the whole thing. Jay, thank you for that super chat. By the way, Chris, no, you have not missed the Coldplay concert discussion. And apparently anything and everything can now be blamed on a Coldplay concert. Catch, I'm assuming you are up to date on.
Whoa.
I'm assuming you're up to date on that story.
How dare you guys? Everyone knows the reason why the Coldplay thing happened and the reason why they played the A&M hymn as Steve Sarkisian walked out. And I'm shocked you're not hip to this. Fucking Quinn Ewers.
I was wondering if that's where you were going. There it is.
Come on, Quinn.
By the way, the other day I was listening to Arch Manning talk about how many times he texts Quinn, and I thought that's the out. For certain Texas fans, they'll blame those texts. They'll blame Quinn from a distance. It's Quinn's fault. Quinn's giving him the wrong information about the red zone. That's the problem.
I'm looking at Oklahoma's transfer list because they signed 21 transfers, Chad.
Uh-huh.
The real game should be, I'll put a logo up on the screen and you try to guess where that player went to school.
For real.
I mean, I don't know.
I know I could get McNeese. I'm familiar with that logo. I know what that one looks like, but some of those others I don't think I could get. Who's the receiver that got banged up that they think's coming back? He was like Savannah State.
Arkansas, Pine Bluff.
Pine Bluff. That's the one.
Gotta be one of these.
I might know the Pine Bluff logo because I think it's a really cool lion. Maybe. But yeah, that's rough.
I mean, I don't know because I'm looking at it and I'm like, is that a Marshall or is that a Maryland or is that a Michigan? I don't know who that is.
Yeah. No, it's rough. All right. Are you about
hold on, I'm going to click on his name. I really don't know. I'm going to feel so stupid. It's going to be like, oh, that guy went to Michigan. Where'd he go? Hold on.
Please let it be Miami of Ohio. Something like that.
Where did he go? I'm trying to figure it out. McNeese.
It was McNeese. See, I would have known that one with the cowboy on it. I know that one.
No, it wasn't that one. It was just a generic looking M.
Just a generic M. No,
it wasn't the cowboy like giddy up and in the air.
The cowboy giddy up. I know that one from McNeese. R.C. Slocum went to McNeese, so I know McNeese.
This was different. They tricked me with Jermichael Carter. I thought Jermichael Carter, like I said, I could not identify the M. It turns out that Emma's McNeese State. That's my point.
Yeah.
That is my point. Move on.
That is incredible. All right. Are you about ready to play the Mike Elko game?
Yes.
All right, we are going to do that. Let me just tell you all about Deep Eddy Vodka real quick. The tasting room is ready to go. It's open as we speak because it's Friday, and they're 11 to 7 on Fridays. And we're talking here in the 1 o'clock hour, Saturday 11 to 7, Sunday 12 to 5. Get on out there, have some of those great cocktails. Make sure you get some Crimson Creek Smokehouse barbecue as well. Make sure you do it safely. Get your DD or rideshare all set up. They're all about a good time out at Deep Eddy Vodka. Get on out to Dripping Springs and tell them we said hello. Tell them you heard about it here on Orange Bloods Live. We certainly would appreciate it. All right, Catch. So here we go. It is Mike Elko, fact or fiction. I will give you the statement, and you tell me if it's something he actually said at Media Days or not. Here we go. Mike Elko, fact or fiction number 1. For those of you who had me walking out to the eyes of Texas, you lost your bet.
He didn't say that.
Yes, he did. That, in fact, Catch was the first thing out of his mouth.
How? Of course it was. Okay.
First thing out of his mouth. All right, Mike Elko. Mike Elko, fact or fiction.
Did that hit like a ton of bricks? Like, did they laugh? How did the room react to that?
Catch, at that point, again, last coach, 16 out of 16. There might have been 20 people in the house. I didn't hear a roar. I'll say that. I'm sure there was some
waka,
smiles.
waka, waka.
Yeah, a little bit of a chuckle maybe, but, you know, I don't know how. I don't know that it went over like gangbusters. I'll put it that way. All right, okay. Mike Elko, fact or fiction on Noah Thomas being at Georgia now. He's a playmaker, has the ability to win contested catches, great work ethic. Happy for Noah that he's found a place that he's comfortable. Certainly hope he has a great year this year, especially on November 15th.
I wasn't going to buy that ever. And then you said the end. So I'm going to say he did not say that.
That is correct. You know me too well. He did not say that. No, he said everything up to especially. He said everything up to that moment. He did compliment him for the rest of the time. All right, Catch. Mike Elko, fact or fiction on why Marcel Reed wasn't in Atlanta. Marcel Reed isn't with us today because we wanted him to have as much time as possible getting comfortable with the new receivers we brought in this season.
Well, I'm going to say sell because that's intellectually stupid. Like, if he needed a day, oh, man, we left him back because we needed him getting comfortable with his wide receivers. That would scare the crap out of me. So I'm going to say no way he said that.
That is correct. He did not say that. He was also not asked about Marcel Reed. So very good. Catch, fact or fiction, Mike Elko on the running back room. E.J. Smith is going to have a huge year for us.
So
he said it. He went on to talk about an injury, that he's coming back from the injury. He literally said E.J. Smith is going to have a huge year for us.
I think that might be one of those damn good things. Like, he may not mean great, means 1,400 yards.
Yeah, no, I know. If you just look, I was looking at the transcript today and I was like, huh.
He might have meant like he's not going to get hurt and he's going to stay healthy this year.
Yeah. All right. And finally, Catch, Mike Elko, fact or fiction, when asked about the flagship comment, I don't think I was considering anything else. I was making a statement in regards to our role in impacting high school coaches in our state. I think, like a lot of things, that maybe got misinterpreted. People in Austin can be sensitive.
So that would have got back to me. He didn't say that.
That is true. He said everything except the last sentence. Yeah. All of it except the last sentence. That is true. Well done, Mr. Ketchum. Well done. There you go, Mike Elko.
I give up, Uncle. I give up.
Mike Elko, fact or fiction? Oh, my Lord. All right. I think Ketch is about ready to roll. I think he's about ready to go. Before we do that, with Ketch's head on the table, let me just remind you about Texas Card House. We had 3 incredible travel sponsors for SEC Media Days. We told you about Taste on Main earlier. Of course, Hayes City Store. And shout out to Texas Card House. They sponsor us every day at 12. And if you go in and say Orange Bloods, mention Orange Bloods at check-in, 1 month of free club membership, 2 hours of free poker play. There are the 6 locations of Texas Card House. And remember, if you're online in the great state of Texas, go play some online poker with Ketch and Alex and the gang at hijackpoker.com. Go to hijackpoker.com. You put the app on any device you want. You see the phone version right there in the picture. But you can do it all kinds of different ways. Sign up, get a $20 bonus, hijackpoker.com. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. Subscribers up over 42,000 now. Thank you all for that. On this, what did you call it earlier in the week? The face in palm Friday, face palm Friday.
Oh man, I've had a few of those face palms today.
Ketch has had some face palms on this Friday. All right, we got through it on this Friday. Y'all have a great weekend, but remember, Sunday evening about 6 o'clock, that's when Derek Cooper, the #1 all-purpose back in America, will make his choice, and many believe it's going to be Texas. Ketch officially on the way out. You think it's Texas on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. Be a huge, huge get, obviously, for you Longhorn fans. So check that out, and be sure to check out orangebloods.com. The QR code in the upper left corner. It's the easiest way to get in. Sign up for orangebloods.com and get all the great content, including that awesome war room from last night. Y'all have a good weekend. Keep checking out Orange Bloods Live. Check out the video and short section. All the stuff from Atlanta and SEC Media Days from this week. It is all still there. Y'all be safe. Have a good weekend. We will talk to you.